Hey guys, it's Ramon Savul, and my research presentation is about how athletes have been able to use their platforms to express issues around the world and be activists in their communities. These athletes range from Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali, and Colin Kaepernick. There were a lot more athletes, however, these three guys were able to perform on the field and court and also help by inspiring people in their communities and others around them. That's why I hope to inform others that athletes are more than just entertainers. When people talk about the greatest of all time debate, they often bring up LeBron James and Michael Jordan. However, I believe that the greatest athlete of all time is Jackie Robinson because he was one of the first athletes to speak up and fight through a lot of adversity. Jack Roosevelt Robinson was an American professional baseball player who became the first African American to play in Major League Baseball in the modern era. Robinson broke the baseball color line when the Brooklyn Dodgers started him at first base on April 15, 1947. Even though he's best known for breaking Major League Baseball's color barrier, Robinson's poise and strength in the face of adversity, both on and off the field, are why still many honor him to this day. Robinson's legacy was built as both as an athlete and an activist over the course of his entire life. One of the biggest adversities that Jackie Robinson faced was when Philadelphia Phillies manager Ben Chapman repeatedly shouted racial slurs at Robinson when he stepped up to the plate. The city council resolution states that Robinson was told to go back to the cotton fields and that Chapman and several Phillies also made comments about Robinson's physical features. Robinson later said that it was the closest he came to cracking and retaliating. In those initial games against the Phillies, Robinson held in his anger because he knew if he lashed out, it would affect a lot of people's lives, and he also knew that he might lose his opportunity to play in the Major League Baseball. Many people believed that Chapman was wrong to throw racial remarks at Jackie Robinson, so Chapman asked if he could take a picture with Robinson as an apology. This was a really big deal because one of the most racist managers in the league was apologizing to the man who broke the color line. Robinson was just as active in his pursuit of equality after his baseball career was over. As a public advocate for civil rights and a board member of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Dr. Martin Luther King encouraged several athletes to speak out on civil rights. He encouraged baseball icon Jackie Robinson. Robinson was also seen alongside King during the March on Washington. The baseball star brought his three children along with him. Jackie Robinson was interviewed on the Dick Cavett Show shortly before his death in 1972. In the interview, he mentions how he wants to build homes for the less fortunate. He started a program where he goes into the inner city and helps build homes for the less fortunate. Following the death of her husband in 1972, Miss Robinson incorporated the Jackie Robinson Development Corporation, which was founded to build and manage housing for people of moderate and low incomes. A year later, Miss Robinson created the Jackie Robinson Foundation, a non-profit organization whose mission is to provide college scholarships and leadership training. Jackie Robinson sent letters to President Dwight D. Eisenhower and Lyndon B. Johnson. He believed that they both failed to act defensively in combating racism. In the letters, he expresses his frustration and calls upon the presidents to finally guarantee federal support of black civil rights. Jackie Robinson was an inspiration not only during his time era, but he is still today considered one of the leaders for African American equality. Jackie Robinson inspired more than just athletes to strive for their goals, but also ordinary people, black and white. The Major League Baseball made Jackie Robinson Day, which is a traditional event commemorating and honoring the day Jackie Robinson made his Major League debut. April 15 was opening day in 1947, Robinson's first season in the major leagues. Also, the number 42 has been retired for all Major League Baseball teams out of respect towards Robinson. However, players still wear the number 42 to honor Robinson on this special day. Muhammad Ali was an American professional boxer, activist, and philanthropist. He is nicknamed the greatest and is widely regarded as one of the most significant and celebrated sports figures of the 28th century, and as one of the greatest boxers of all time. Born as Cassius Clay Jr., Ali changed his name in 1964 after joining the Nation of Islam. On April 28, 1967, with the United States at war in Vietnam, Muhammad Ali refused to be inducted into the armed forces. This resulted in him being stripped of his heavyweight championship and banned from boxing for 3 years during the prime of his career. Muhammad Ali also supported some of the biggest black civil rights activists of the time, like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Muhammad Ali said he won't go 10,000 miles from home to continue the domination of white slave masters of the darker people the world over. Overall, Muhammad Ali stood against the Vietnam War long before that was a popular stance, spoke out repeatedly against racism, and later campaigned against Islamophobia in the US following the 9/11 attacks. Muhammad Ali publicly disagreed at first with Dr. Martin Luther King's policy of urging black and white people to live together, yet in later years the views of the two men converged. And by the end of 1967, the two men were on good terms and were supportive of each other, with Ali sending Dr. King, who had been sent to prison, a telegram of support. Malcolm X was like a big brother to Muhammad Ali. Since Ali rejected his faith growing up, Malcolm X helped him join the Nation of Islam. Many people believe that Malcolm X influenced Muhammad Ali to become the activist he had become. Colin Kaepernick is one of the most recent and popular athletes to become an activist. Many people believe that Colin Kaepernick is the face of the new civil rights movement. By first sitting and then kneeling last season to draw attention to the oppression of black people and people of color in the U.S., the now unemployed quarterback risked his career. According to Stephen A. Green, Colin Kaepernick has risked a lot to elevate the issues that affect black and brown bodies in America. For our community, we can't afford to let him be silenced. Colin Kaepernick stated that he didn't want to show pride in a flag for a country that oppressed black people and people of color. In this speech given at the ESPYs by Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James, they want to get a message out to the other athletes at the ESPYs. They say that athletes need to start speaking up and use their platforms that they are provided like the athletes before them had done. They also bring up multiple problems that are going on in the world, including poverty and gun violence. LeBron did an interview talking about politics. Afterwards, journalist Laura Ingraham said it's always unwise to seek political advice from someone who gets paid $100 million a year to bounce a ball, she said. Keep the political comments to yourself. Shut up and dribble. LeBron responded by saying he will definitely not shut up and dribble. He said, I mean too much to society, too much to the youth, too much to so many kids who feel like they don't have a way out. I hope this video helped you see the impact that athletes can have outside of their sport. I hope this also inspires others to speak up on issues around the world, since many of these athletes lost their jobs fighting for others. Thanks for watching.